So on today's podcast, episode 3 of The Full Landscape, we sit down with Waterpro employee and digital media unicorn DK and talk about all things DK, his schooling, his history, his background, what he does here, the platforms that he uses to do what he does, and just general chit-chat about how we think we can fix the education system. So, thank you.
Y'all ready to turn it up tonight? If you really want to fly, your hands in the air, let the music get you high.
Okay, cool.
DK just went into podcast voice. Okay, cool.
Ladies and gentlemen.
In the blue. You know, last night I watched a bit of your YouTube channel.
Why?
Why
would you do that?
I ran out of stuff to watch, and I thought it would be. I was trying to get an idea of. So I watched my YouTube. I actually watched about 20 minutes of the interview, the podcast from last week, and then I watched a live that you were like reviewing some headphones.
Yeah.
And you were like,
Do you see how awkward I was?
and I was like, what the fuck is he doing? I'm
Yeah.
like, are you going to start? And he's like, no one's here. Yeah, it's fun. It was interesting to watch your YouTube after knowing you.
Yep.
And going, he doesn't talk like that. So,
Yeah, because I put on like a
yeah, you go into
presenter
this very,
sort of.
So today we are.
Yeah.
Do I have to do this?
I don't know. I reckon it's best if it's like really close.
So,
But
it's funny that because you're the one that's going to be editing it, you're like so conscious of how good the sound's going to be.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
So, today we're sitting down with David King, and I'm hoping we're getting audio, visual, everything.
Yeah, looks like it's all set.
David will be known as DK in this podcast and forever moving forward. DK is the digital media unicorn at Waterpro, and due to the fact that I couldn't get my guest in this week, he's jumped in and said, okay, I'll come along and we'll do the podcast because he's here anyway and he's getting paid, so he kind of can't say no. We better get you to sign a talent release form, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to imagine that.
Well, if I don't like what's being said,
like, no.
then I'm just like, nah.
Well, you're editing it anyway, so you'll be all right.
Exactly, yeah.
So DK came on board as digital media unicorn
About
3 months, 12 weeks
ago.
Weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any big fans of DK out there? You can comment below how long he's been working for on our sound or our audio. So I was driving along, listening to a podcast, and I think it was Gary V was doing he has a pod sessions. Yep. And one of the dudes pulled out, so he ended up grabbing one of his staff and threw them in there. And I thought, that's not a bad idea. So I thought it'd be cool to catch up.
Yeah.
And even to probably do more podcasts with all the staff.
That would be
and get
really
like
cool.
A bit of a series of, so like the interview that you would have done if you knew the guy before you hired them.
Yeah.
So obviously for anyone that follows our social, they would have seen your application to come and work here.
Yeah.
But then what prior to that? So I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about where you went to school and so give me the
cool.
Like where did it all start? Where were you born in South Australia?
Yeah, I was born in Adelaide.
Yep.
I went to school at Westminster, which you'd know Reedy also went to school at Westminster.
He can cover that in his interview, mate. But yeah, no.
Yeah. So you got two of us here now. So
two Westminsters, which is funny.
Gradually infiltrate the entirety of Waterpro.
Because I did an interview. I did a survey of the staff the other day, and you are the only employee that we have that has a university degree.
Yeah.
So, but now you're
and it's totally pointless. As well. Yeah.
And you're one of only probably 4 that finished year 12, I reckon.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Chris finished year 12. Matt finished year 12.
High achievers.
So, well, we are all very high achievers.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're just not in line with society's expected high achievement.
Yeah.
So
it's weird how like I don't even think I knew that I was like able to leave school at like I knew kids that left school at like year 10 and
I'm
shit.
thinking about that, like at Westminster, like where did those kids go?
Like, where are they going?
Oh, they died.
Yeah.
Like not physically, but socially.
Just
they're
like,
dead now.
Yeah.
You know, because they didn't go to uni and become a lawyer or a doctor or an accountant.
Or they would have told you that their careers died, but probably
they're probably making more money.
Yeah,
than
exactly.
The
Yeah, straight out of
if that's your
school.
measurement.
Yeah.
So Westminster, that's is that reception to year 12? Is that how that
Yeah, it
works?
was. So I went there all the way from reception all the way through to year 12,
Yep.
which is probably a little bit of a pointless
For the first bit?
exercise for the first half. And I mean, that's just my opinion. Like, some other people might have a different opinion, like that going to a private school for reception is important, but I
think it depends on
see
what your
why
parents
it
are
would
trying to
be.
achieve. Like,
Yeah.
we've got a friend of ours, my wife and my wife's school friend is an early childhood teacher, and when
Yeah.
we spoke about school, she said to the best primary school to send your kids to is the one closest to your house, provided that they're not like cooking ice in the shed. Do you know what I mean? Like, as long as it's a reputable school.
I mean, if they had the skills the chemistry skills to be able to cook ice at that age, then
you put it to good use and solve cancer,
You may as well.
cure cancer or something. But we'll stick with the ice. So we send our son to the closest school to our house because the social network's more important than the ABC
exactly,
1, 2, 3.
especially at that age as well.
So did you live close enough to the school to
not
walk?
really.
Were you catching buses at 5 and 6, or parents drop you off? Or?
Well, yeah, my parents dropped me off like almost every day.
Yep.
Occasionally I would take the bus. There was a fairly close bus route to my house.
And was that a government bus, or the school has a bus service?
The
as part
school.
of it? Did you find that the bus was a stressful environment for kids that were potentially being bullied, or was it?
Yes.
Yeah, because there's no teachers there. There's a bus driver trying not to crash the bus.
Exactly.
And all the kids,
Yeah. And it's obviously like when you're that age, it's like all the cool kids up the back of the bus and make sure you
and
hold
shit
down
can
the
get
fort.
thrown at your head. And,
Exactly. Yeah.
My former business partner Michael went to Ross Trevor College, and he's got like massive negative memories of the school bus. Like in early stages, I remember he used to talk about how much he hated. Like the school wasn't such a big deal, but that bus ride, when he was younger, I'm sure as he got older, he made friends and you become a bit more comfortable in your surroundings. But you think about sticking a 5 or a 6-year-old on a bus with 16 and 17-year-olds with no adult supervision, and this is, I mean, when you were at school, you're talking bullying. No one really gave a shit if anyone was being bullied. Like, toughen up, kid. Like, it was. I mean, what you finished in 2000?
2010.
It probably was a bit more prominent when you were at school than when I was at school.
Yeah.
But.
So I went through like a stage where I was like pretty badly bullied when I was in like year, I don't know, I guess like 6 or 7 or something, like that sort of.
So that's primary. So they have
range.
a junior school and a senior school.
Yeah.
So you'd be on a campus as such of kids, and in year 6 you're getting towards the older level of those kids.
Yeah.
And still being picked on by kids of the same age.
I was never picked on by like older kids or
Same
anything.
age.
It was always just like whatever, like, because obviously you'd split off into different friend groups.
So
and
what
that
were you?
sort of stuff.
Was there like jocks and nerds and
Yeah,
goths?
well, I was like the skater kid.
Yeah. Okay.
So me and my mate Willem, we used to always we grew up skateboarding and riding our bikes.
Ever since you can remember, you'd have a deck in hand.
Yeah, and so then there was like the I guess jocks you'd call them, but I feel
so
like
the
that's
cool dudes, the sporty kind of.
Sure. Yeah.
They'd own the basketball court or the footy goal
Yeah.
square or whatever.
Typically, it would be like the football players,
Yep.
like because AFL is such a big thing in Australia,
and especially in private schools.
Exactly.
If you, like the kids will go there to play that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
my school, it wasn't so much at Mowbray High, but
Yeah, and it was funny because it was never really physical bullying.
that's just jibs.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like at like public schools, it would be a whole lot more physical stuff.
I think it was still there. I mean, there
Yeah.
was a bit of physical. I remember throwing one of my mates into a locker once.
Yeah.
But that's a funny story in itself. But
there was a kid in year 8 that got shoved into a locker.
I know. I just threw him at the
put
wall, but they locked him in.
Put the lock on
Oh, shit.
because he was trying to show all the other kids how cool he was
Yep.
because he could fit his entire body in the locker.
and they're like,
And so,
fucking
like,
how cool
oh
is
my
this?
god, you can close it, and you can also put the lock on. And whose lock was that? We don't know.
The
No
guy
one has
in
the code.
The guy in the actual
Yeah, it
locker.
was probably his
He's
lock.
like,
He's
"It's
like in that
four,
yeah,
two."
trying to tell us the code.
No, I
Yeah.
threw my mate into a locker. We were just messing around in the hallway, but these were old timbered locker doors, and they had these metal, like there was just like a two pieces of metal that came out, and you put a padlock through it. So it was padlock, and I threw him into the locker, and the lock pierced his arm.
Oh shit!
So he's gone to whatever medical bullshit we had at school at the time, and gone to see the nurse.
Yeah,
and
sick bay.
Ends up in the principal's office.
He ends up at the principal's office.
Like who did it? What happened?
Oh, okay.
And he's like, I don't know. And the principal was like, you must be pretty stupid if you don't know who threw you into a locker. He's like, it was Clint. Like, this is my best mate.
Dude, dogged you.
You're a fuckhead. Like,
dogged you.
Yeah, so thanks for hanging me out. But yeah, so
you want to call him out on the podcast right now?
It's Andrew Goodhand. I call him out a lot actually on random podcasts. And, I think if I'm doing a video with Irvo, I'm always give Goody shit. And only because I know he's so comfortable in himself. He'll probably comment, "You're a fuckhead," and he'll drop a story about me underneath that's probably even more.
Actually, go ahead, do it.
Yeah, thanks,
I want to hear some dodgy stories about Clint.
So there's probably a few out there. Actually, that would be an interesting one. We should do that one day.
We should do that.
Like a group of 3 or 4 of my mates and
sit you down and
and they interview me.
Yeah.
No.
Or not interview, but just like have a chat and talk about reminisce. And,
we got to do that. I definitely do want to do an interview where I get interviewed by someone, like Matt or Jamie or Celeste, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Okay.
Maybe not.
I reckon seeing
polygraph.
Yeah. She starts asking you.
So the bullying. Yeah, I get what you're saying, and I think anyone that's listening or watching is going to get it. They're like, yeah, I know that kid, or I know that process. They never said anything directly to him, but it was always underhanded comments in the background, or like being sarcastic if you answered a question in class, or all that stupid stuff. Yeah. And the teachers aren't really well equipped enough to handle that.
Exactly. Yeah, and you only really realize that once you get out of school, and you realize and
how much it doesn't matter.
Some of the dumbest people that I've met through school went on to do teaching. Some of the really most intelligent people also went on to do teaching. Yeah. But also I look at some of the people that went on to do teaching, and I'm like, oh my god, you're going, because they're going to be the teachers of my kids.
And it's not even dumb from a an educational point of view, but
dumb
social awareness. No, straight up. Okay, cool. Do you want to shout out? Fuck you, bullies.
Yeah, no, people doing making Facebook. I remember just making Facebook statuses where they just get their grammar entirely wrong, and then they're going on to teach English to our kids, and it's oh god. Yep. Oh, no.
But that's it. I mean,
you can they could go on and learn.
They can teach reception.
Yeah, exactly.
Foundation.
That sort of stuff. Yeah.
So then you moved into obviously you finished school, so you dealt with bullying. Just
it wasn't it was more I dealt with a lot of anxiety.
Yep.
And it was more when I look back on it now, it's probably that I was doing it to myself, because I was being.
Which would we'll talk a bit further about what you've done on YouTube, but you've got the same stuff happening digitally now.
Oh yeah,
and you probably were getting hazed early, and you didn't get it.
It's kind of good because it's it gives you a bit of a thick skin, and then you're just and especially after
I don't see you face to face.
Yeah, and especially now from doing YouTube, and
how
all
thick it is now.
Exactly, you've seen some of the comments that I get on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So
I'm jealous. Where's my trolls?
yeah, exactly. Well,
because you've made it.
Exactly.
You've made it, but
in that sort of
if you've got enough people watching your shit, that there's people drilling you.
Yeah.
So then, okay.
So for those that don't know, should we quickly?
Well, we might as well go down that path. So,
or do you want to just go?
So let's go linear.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's do that.
You were saying that you've, where was I going? So the bullying, you dealt with it pretty well. What I was going to say is, for any children listening that are being bullied in school, just know that the majority of the time, you're in a snapshot of time in your life, and the people that are bullying you are generally going to be irrelevant in the world, the world. Now and once they leave school. Yeah. And I know I see kids that were bullied at my school, and I'd be interested to hear, like I've spoken about before, I don't have a very good past memory of my life. Yeah. I don't know that I bullied people. I probably didn't help people if they were being bullied. I just kind of stayed out of it and just did my thing, and I wasn't really part of a cool group or a bully group. I kind of floated in inside, but I didn't help the situation. Yeah. all those kids that were nerds or being bullied or didn't fit the cool group as far as the society was considered then, most of them are now doctors, like scientists, making bank, happily married, functional relationships with their family and their kids, not on crack.
Exactly.
Like good suburbs, good houses. Like it's funny. Like the bullying that's occurring is to the people that are generally going to be better off later, and you just have to get past that. That shitty window of 5 years, and you shouldn't have to. And I think the world's getting more aware of it, and it won't be a problem. But anyway.
It's a funny thing. Like I look back at some of the people that were rude to me, when I was that age, and you realize like that it was their own sort of insecurities, and it was like they've got some own their own personal issues,
mirroring what they're getting at home.
Exactly, and then so you kind of just like you end up hoping the best for them, which is kind of funny.
Well, I was bullied at a workplace when I was 15. I started working really early, so I kind of was like not hazed, but I worked for a supermarket, and the guy that was my boss there, they treated me like shit, like to the point where I was vomiting with anxiety in the morning. And look, people look at me now and they're like, dude, you're in charge of your shit. Like,
but it's probably the anxiety that
I was throwing up. I was crying. My mum had to ring up. I was 15, I reckon. So it's crazy. I was 15, and she's had to ring them up to say he's not coming into work because of the amount of anxiety that these guys are causing. And the guy delivers here now. He's a courier. The manager of the shop that gave me shit.
Wow.
And I confronted him about it 6 or 8 months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like,
I was like,
recently.
You don't remember.
But hang on, when did he just recently start delivering, or has he been delivering for a long time?
I only just recently saw him. So he works for one of the third-party courier companies that we use. And I was probably ruder than I should have been. Yeah. But I needed to get it off my chest.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure once you did that, you probably felt like a whole lot more.
And then I felt really bad afterwards. I'm like,
it depends on the way that you do it. Like, if you just confront him and say, like, look, this is how you...
Oh, I didn't say, you made me feel bad.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I unloaded.
Stuff like that, but yeah.
So, anyway, that's not what we're here for.
No, why not? Whatever's interesting for the podcast.
Oh, dude, I'm like, it's fucking him. And I'm like, hey, you're this guy. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, you used to manage this place. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, you don't remember me, do you? And he's like, nah. I'm like, yeah, of course you don't.
Yeah.
And what are you doing now? And what am I doing now? And it was kind of along those lines. But anyway.
Yeah.
He obviously didn't stick around to climb the corporate ladder of the supermarket chain that, like, this is 20 years ago. He should be in charge of the supermarket. Yeah. Based on where he was then. Anyway. So you move into high school. Did you have an idea that you were going to move into digital media? When did you decide what you were going to do at uni? You were always going to go to uni because that's the world you grew up in?
Well, so after, I guess, in year 11 or year 10, I started doing drama. Yeah. And that got me out of my shell a whole lot more, rather than being really introverted.
You get picked on for doing drama?
No.
I reckon if you went to my school, you would have.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
it's public school out northeast.
It's funny because the drama kids are often the most confident, so they that sort of any sort of.
You need like Oz Striker from American Pie.
Oz,
yeah. Like for him to come in and they're like, nah, drama's cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, that was you.
You were
the cool, good-looking kid that started drama and made it cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll claim that. So I started doing drama, and so obviously to do something like that, you have to get out of your shell a whole lot more. And so we did plays, and so you'd learn your lines and go out in front of a massive audience of people and
with lights
do your play.
Yep,
exactly, burning your retinas. And so that got me a whole lot more out of my shell. And then from there, in year 12, I ended up doing like digital media, IT, English communications, and all like really sort of artsy.
When did you have your first computer that you could use for whatever you wanted?
Funnily enough, the first time I started editing videos was on a Sony Walkman flip phone.
No shit.
Yeah.
And so what, like 90... What would that be, like early 2000s, late 90s?
Yeah, early 2000s, I think.
And then did you have a laptop at school? Was that part of the
No. So I missed out. Like, it was probably 2 years beneath us, they started getting like laptops.
So they're coming into like 05, 06, 07. They're starting year 8 then, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I guess if you started year 8 in like 2009 or something.
So Reedy would be an example of that.
Yeah,
he would have had a laptop, and it would have been like a $4,500 laptop as well. Yeah.
Bloody good laptops.
Yeah. And that's part of, the school lets you have that, or that's just part of your $15 million
it's just
you
part
pay
of
to go to school.
Part of the fee.
Yeah.
But at the same,
I'm sure they don't just give it to you.
Yeah, but at the same time, like an ex-girlfriend of mine, she went to Brighton.
Big mistake, ex-girlfriend. Look at him now.
On a podcast with Clint Adams. Oh my god!
On the full landscape.
Is that what we're calling
I'm going with it.
The full landscape.
The full landscape.
Not Waterpro connections.
I don't know.
I'm feeling a connection.
I hate this now, man. I'm so decisive about so many things.
Yeah.
I can't think of a name for a podcast.
I think it's cool that we've just like started and we're just like we don't have a name.
Well, this
for
is really
it,
in line with one of the 12 values, which is ready, fire, aim. Just imagine I waited for the perfect name to start the podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So ex-girlfriend.
So she went to Brighton. She had they had MacBooks for like all
which
of their
I don't
stuff.
even know what they are because I
don't
operate in that ecosystem.
There you go. But I was blown away.
MacBook?
Yeah,
I'm being serious. I have no idea.
Yeah. Laptop.
Like what you and Jaron have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So and she was only a couple years beneath me. So it was like
Cradle snatcher.
so a public school.
Yep.
and they've got like laptops and it was all part of. Do you remember that like initiative with Kevin Rudd and
I thought you were saying shopper dockets. I remember back in like 93, 94, Coles used to give out shopper dockets.
No.
And you'd get a PC
you
for
get a free laptop.
School. No.
Oh.
You'd get a PC for the school.
Oh, okay.
Like
I vaguely remember something like that.
So I finished I should have finished year 12 in 2000. So I finished primary school in 95.
Yeah.
And then so in 93 and 92, we were getting those big like green writing PCs.
It's the big CRT
and like
monitors.
The school would get 3 or 2 and then you'd have to like they'd have a computing class where the 25, I think we had classes of 30 back then, would go sit in the computer room and the teacher would show you how to like draw a line on CAD.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yep.
One line or like up and then go right.
Yeah.
And then you'd take turns using that one computer and everyone would sit there and watch one person do one line.
Wow.
And then and then they'd get 3 and they'd be like, boom, 10 of you share a computer. So there'd be 10 around the back of one dude and be like,
jeez.
And like keyboard, I don't even think we had mouses or mice.
Yeah.
And it's like up, 2, enter. I did a line.
Yeah.
What'd you do at school today? I drew a line on a computer. So yeah, it's funny to see now that we're now talking about kids that have got computers that are more powerful than whatever.
Yeah.
That it's in their backpack and they give no shit about it and they stick a stupid sticker on it and just throw it in their bag and off they go.
And you'd think it would be easier for those kids, but it ends up being a lot harder because there's much more that's expected of them.
Well, they're not just drawing a line, are they?
Exactly, because if they've got a laptop with them all the time, then the teacher's expecting like, oh, when you go home and do your homework, you can type it up on the computer. You don't have to handwrite it.
We used to use that excuse. I don't have a computer.
Yeah.
Like, and that was a plausible excuse
as well. Yeah.
I don't have a computer. Oh, well, and you because I was in the charge of excuses when I was in school. I managed my way around everything. And be like, well, you can always come into the computer lab and use their computers.
Yep. My go-to excuse was we don't have access to the internet because we didn't. Like, we had dial-up for the longest time.
And how much does it cost to go to the school? Like 10 grand a year
exactly.
Or 12 grand
and my parents just decided,
like, we spent all our money on education.
We spent a lot of money on that. Yeah, exactly. And the funny thing was, Dad was trying to start his own business, like building websites for people. And
no shit.
Yeah.
So what were your mum and dad's jobs when you were at school?
So Dad was Dad did like 25 years in Telstra.
Yep.
And then had his car accident and got brain damage, and then did some more years in Telstra.
Crazy parallel. Mitch had a car accident and had brain damage.
Yeah. And so then Dad ended up sort of doing some more like computer-based stuff, like stuff that he can sit down and doesn't have to do physical work.
And take his own time as well.
Yeah, exactly. And Mum was in insurance for like the longest time.
Yep.
Yeah. That was basically her whole deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they both worked full time when you were at school.
Yep.
Yeah. How many
basically.
siblings?
Oh well, Dad. I guess full time.
You know,
it was at home,
barring
Yeah.
an accident, and
Exactly.
You know, and like digital media is a job, DK. You can't say just because he's making websites.
Yeah.
You got one brother.
One brother.
That's it, sibling wise, as far as you know.
Yeah, as far as I know. Yeah.
Cool. I'm sure your dad's watching. Comment below.
Comment below if I have any other siblings.
So you breathed through school. Was school easy for you?
Not really. Like I didn't do too well until I got to year 11, 12.
When you found stuff you liked.
Exactly. Yeah, because it was like, it was funny. I was really good at maths. And then all of a sudden, when I got into like high school, and I was bad at English at first, and then it sort of like flipped because I was doing like specialist English, like just to make sure that I could like keep up with the crowd, and then I ended up getting better than everyone else at English.
You put time into it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but
practice.
then no maths because I was like, oh, I've got maths sorted.
Yeah.
Like I know.
I found maths really easy as well. Maths and physics made sense to me.
Yeah.
English, I was like, who the fuck made these rules? Like, why is there a fucking K in front of the end? Like, it didn't make sense.
Yep.
And so I was like, no, I'm not worrying about English.
Yes.
I can't see it being important.
Yeah. So by the time I got into like, I ended up quitting maths as early as I could. It was like year 10 or 11.
And did you like, so when we were at school, we had like year 11 and 12 obviously was maths 1, maths 2 or business maths.
So I did maths apps when I could, which is like it seems like the appropriate maths to do.
Is that what the apps stands for?
Appropriate maths? No, I think it's application.
Maths
like
application.
it's
So it'd be
applicable.
stuff for business and...
Well, and it's like, it's stuff that everyone would actually use. So
Funnily
rather
enough,
than...
we do use compasses here.
Yeah.
So I didn't know when, like, you know how they're like 90-degree angles and 270s and like, when are we going to use this?
When are we ever going to do
Irrigation
that?
design.
Yeah.
And even hydraulics as well. Like a lot of the calculations we use for like working out the volume of a circle or a cylindrical device, vessel. We use that.
Yeah.
Because we have to work out what a tank holds or everything we sell is round. So yeah. So kids who are listening, I'm sure there's a lot of kids that sit up and listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
There are some things that you will learn in maths that do get used.
Exactly.
Pythagoras is not full of shit. It does come into it.
And don't worry about going into maths apps because you think it's dumb maths, as some people might call it. Because it's not dumb maths. It's
the maths that you're going to use if you don't become a scientist or a...
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. See, I don't even know.
Well, if you just...
I'm running a multi-million-dollar business. I'm like, maths?
Yeah. If you're just like a labourer or something, like...
Don't say just a labourer. Not just a labourer.
No, yeah. But if you go into that profession,
then that's the maths that you... Like, you think about, right, so... You go to the school you went to and you become a landscaper or a plasterer or a paving contractor. All the maths that you did then helps you with your GST and your profit and loss and, you know, working out your budgets for whatever else. The maths that you're needing to do in maths 1 and maths 2, if it's still called that, to work out, you know, sine, cos and tan, you're not going to use that to work out the square meters of a paving, an area that you need to pave.
Yeah.
So, and even now, and you know what, the crazy thing now, it's all on your phone. So you don't even need to know, like, you want to look up like a formula, it's on your phone. You want to find a calculator, it's on your phone.
Yeah.
So really, school doesn't even need to exist anymore.
And I remember...
Does school even need to exist anymore?
No, I don't think so.
Not like socially.
There definitely has to be
contact.
somewhere that you
So what do you do? Like
socially.
Reception, you just start a networking group of 400 people.
Oh, and then just
just stay together
hang
for
out.
8 or 10 years. Learn life skills.
Yeah.
And then
I think
your job.
I think education needs to be just overhauled completely. But it's too... I guess...
It'll catch up. It's just not catching up.
Yeah.
Because it takes time.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do? Like,
it's all just set in stone. Like, you've got like 5 topics that you study all the way through from like reception through to, I guess, year 8 or 9. And then you start getting... then you start looking at other...
At specialising.
Yeah, exactly.
And how do you even know? Like, you said it before, like, you've gone, or you danced around it, you went to Westminster, and you had no perception of the fact that you would do anything other than finish year 12 and go to uni, roughly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No one said, hey, dude, if this isn't working for you and you feel a lot of anxiety around going, you might want to look at doing this.
Yeah.
or volunteer work,
Yep.
or living in Japan for 12 months,
Yeah.
or a trade, or Coles, or Woolworths, or Bunnings, or
Yeah.
whatever. And did you do work experience at school?
I did, but it was...
You took the soft road.
No, it was at a place called Dematec Automation. They do like robotics or something, I think.
So it was in line with what like the computers that you're enjoying?
Not really. No.
Why'd you choose that?
It was just because my uncle worked there, so I was like, yeah, I'll just go into that. And it was funny because I actually did really try getting into like a Channel 7 or like one of those
unless you know
sorts.
someone.
Exactly. And because they have their work experience filled out for like 2 or 3 years in advance.
It's so funny that like even work experience reform could be a thing, right? So the kid that like the teacher gives an opinion around where the kid's going, because these teachers have to know, they spend a lot of time with them. Kid fills out a survey, like 40 questions, get their personality profile, things they enjoy, and then the school has predetermined, like they've got like promises from jobs, like so Waterpro would say, we're looking for people that are like D&I on a whatever, like a disk analysis that maybe aren't able to concentrate for long periods of time, or like ADD or whatever you might want to call it. Yeah. That like are going to be able, that work really well with numbers or whatever it might be. Cool. They're best suited to coming into a retail irrigation environment, or working as a chef, or working as a police officer, rather than, because it's going to benefit the industry as well. Because the industry is getting kids coming in and trying it that are more in line with liking it than like I went to, like, because my girlfriend's mum worked at the Hilton, the Hyatt. It was the Hyatt at the time, so now it's the Intercontinental. Okay. And like she's like, yeah, I can get you in. So I went and did 5 days, and their work experience was insane because they do one day, or the first 4 days of the week would be different stuff. So I did events. I think I did room service. I worked in the pastry kitchen and something else.
So you actually did get like
I got
lot
to taste
of experience.
And then day 5, you choose to go back and do the day you enjoyed the most.
Yeah. So that's
guess where I went back to? Pastry kitchen.
Yeah.
Because they had a tub of like cookies that didn't work out on the top shelf, and they're like, have as many cookies as you want. And like,
oh wow,
me having an unhealthy relationship with sugar and everything bad for you, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool. Like pastry, and I made some wicked stuff. Learned how to make good cakes and like wicked stuff.
So why didn't you go into that?
Look, I could have been a chef. I was meant to be a lawyer. I was meant to be a chef.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't even know how I got here. Like, I know I can trace the steps back, but it was all. It's all been very decisive. Just like, oh yeah, like I just say yes a lot. Yeah. So I was working at Domino's, and then my mate rang me. He's like, there's a job here. I'm like, yeah, cool. So I just left. Yeah. I'll go do that. Yeah. Anyway, it's not about me. So so you when did you decide? Did you need to decide what you wanted to do at uni in year 10? Or?
So no, not in year 10. I didn't decide what I was going to do at uni until, well, I guess until I got my options, basically.
So you weren't smart enough to be able to choose what you wanted to do at uni. Uni chose.
So I mean, everything that I chose, I got
happy to share your TER?
I can't remember what it was, but it was just enough.
Like 60, 70?
No, it was 70 something. But it was I just remember that it was just enough to get into like a Bachelor of Media.
I think the people that remember their TER are in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's
like I didn't.
It doesn't matter. It's
exactly. I didn't care about it. Yeah. I didn't care too much because I knew that I was going to, or at least I was pretty certain that I was going to get like somewhere in, because there was a few different things that I applied for. And initially I was like, the whole idea was I was going to be a camera operator. For some reason I had it in my mind that I was... Yeah, exactly. One of those people that sit in the chair and then they'd get like floating around and like... And I didn't really know much about it, but when someone asked me like, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to be a camera operator because I like filming videos.
Which you are.
Exactly. Well, I guess... I kind of am.
Well, no, you're not kind of. You are. Like, you are because...
Exactly. It's guys, just in a different...
in 15 years, those guys won't exist.
They won't,
Because you think about the technology...
Although that being said, there's still people that use those sorts of cameras for like Netflix and big budget
Will they need to? Do you know what I mean? Like, will the technology in a camera that you can hold get so good that there's... You know, you imagine... And this is... I don't even know if this exists. Everyone that's at a footy game is filming it, because people do,
Mm-hmm.
from their cameras or whatever, and they're live streaming it to whatever, to a cloud device, and then Channel 7 or whoever are pulling all that, and the algorithms in the computers are automatically choosing the best quality content to stream, or it's all being streamed, and you at home choose the seat you want to watch it from, because that dude, and then that dude gets ad rev off of, so then all of a sudden, or girl, she's wearing a GoPro on her chest or on her head, and what she's watching, because she's a true sports fan, so what she's seeing is in line with what other true sports fan in Europe wants to see. These Channel 7 camera dudes, they're gone. So you probably went the right path.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or
were you talking like film?
Well, I think that no matter how much like those sorts of like, I don't want to say they're gimmicky, but you would definitely have both ends of the spectrum. You would always
Like people that just want to sit home and press play.
Well, you're always going to have someone that wants like an edited video that's actually like that's.
You mean for live sport or for film?
Well, I guess both, but
Because film
mainly
different.
film. Yeah,
live sport that could work, but if the computer algorithms got so good that it's being edited live without human involvement, set on some rules.
Yeah. What I really want to see with live sport is being able to slap on like a virtual reality headset and just
walk out on the field.
No, but like
that.
be at home and just be able to be
The crowd atmosphere.
in the crowd and be like you have front row seats, because you just have to have like a high resolution 360 camera set up right up the front, and then you're just looking around. And
that technology's there.
Oh, it's there. They're actually doing it now.
And then what Gary Vee did with his hologram thing. I mean, I didn't see how that went, but did he even do it? Yeah, I think he did it. They were doing. No, he ended up coming over. Anyway, okay. So you ended up choosing what you were going to do. You went to university, did a 4-year degree, diploma.
It was. I think it was meant to be a 3-year degree.
Yep.
I took 4 years because I took half a year off, and also I failed a couple subjects.
Yep.
So I failed it was philosophy.
Failed because you were not good enough, or failed because you didn't care?
Because I didn't give a shit. Yeah. Whereas the other ones I was getting high distinctions in. So it was like both ends of the spectrum. It was either a high distinction or distinction, or it was like fails. Yep. And there was a couple credits in there, but basically that's how it was. And it was only like 2 or 3.
So what did you do then? You just choose I didn't go to uni, so I don't understand how it works, but so you just choose to do those subjects again next year and just do 2 subjects, and
one of them I decided I'll just do it again and I'll get it done, and so I did that, and I ended up getting a credit on that one, I think. And
is there anything below a credit as far as passing goes?
Pass.
So pass, credit, distinction, high distinction, or just distinction?
Yeah, distinction, high distinction.
Yep.
And then the other one was philosophy, which I was like super keen on to start with, and then they started talking about, I don't know, like I guess I lost the plot at dualism. I didn't really.
So you like philosophy if you're the philosopher?
I like philosophy. Like I listened to a few philosophy books, and it's like really interesting to take it all in. But then when we were doing philosophy, it wasn't like interesting stuff. It was just like, here's the history of philosophy, and like this happened, and it's all stuff that I wasn't really resonating with, and I didn't connect with, because it wasn't something that was applicable to where I was at now, because it's like old school philosophy where they were like talking about deities and all sorts of like spiritual stuff related to actual religion, and I was just like, oh god, I don't really. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't.
And this is at a time where you can use a phone in uni and just be like,
yeah.
I sometimes think about, like, I would have liked to have gone to uni just to see how I went, and to have finished year 12 just to have the number, and it doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
But just out of pure curiosity, because I would have been. Well, I was probably tracking for an 85, maybe a 90, and then I started just smoking too much weed.
Yeah.
And I went to Japan and lived there for 12 months, and then came back, and all my friends had moved into the next year level, and I had to do year 11 again because I hadn't technically done it because I didn't do anything in Japan. And so I just stopped caring, and then because I was like, through 8, 9, and 10, I'd be like A, B, C for like something stupid like history or geography, which I just didn't give a shit about.
Yeah, so
but I still nursed it
You weren't
through.
actually that bad.
Not a bad
at
student
school.
at all.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I've got friends that finished school that I was on par with that got 85s and 87s and 89s and went to uni.
Yeah,
So, and we were all as smart as each other.
yeah,
I think I did so well at school because I always worked out a way to get it done without doing it.
yeah.
Always. Like, I would be doing homework in the morning by copying other people.
Mhm.
I understood it,
Mm.
but I was just like, wow, dude, what did you do last night? Because
Yeah,
because I always got away with it.
yeah,
Always. And I think I'm having some like realizations about
Mm.
myself. The reason why I don't do shit till it needs to be done is because I always get it done.
yeah,
I always get away with it. I never get punished for my lack of planning.
yeah.
Like even last night, I was booking flights. I'm going to Melbourne on Thursday,
Mm.
and I at no point did I think about booking accommodation until like someone said, "Oh, the Formula One's on,
Mm.
and the AFL,
Yeah,
and the Melbourne International Flower and Garden
Mm.
Show. You might struggle." I'm like,
Mm.
"Yeah, no, it won't be that hard."
yeah,
And it should have been harder. I got a room for $400, like,
Yeah.
and that's probably a lot of money to some people. But for me,
Yeah.
for a room in Melbourne, that's fine.
I do the same thing, and you'd happily spend that extra money just for the peace of mind to just be like just to have that personality where you're just like you're chill.
That's
and
right.
you don't
So
really
if I
care
move
about-
fast enough, I'm happy to. If it cost me $600 or $800 for a night of accommodation,
Yeah.
I would have made it up somewhere else
yeah,
by getting something else done and making enough money. Like,
yeah,
as long as it all stays above the line.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine.
and you're not spending thousands of dollars
Yeah.
because you're
But even with that holiday I went on with my family before that, we
Yeah.
booked the accommodation. I booked the accommodation at 11:30 the day we were like. So we were going on a holiday from Thursday to Sunday.
Yeah.
Thursday morning at 11:30, I booked the accommodation and got a confirmation through at 2 to check in at 4
oh jeez.
for a family holiday, which
Yeah.
makes my wife very uncomfortable. But
Yeah,
she's
well,
been with me long enough. Now.
I'm similar in that I wait until the very last minute to sort of do things a lot of the time, and Maddie's the same. She hates it.
Well, I get it done. I never get punished for it,
Yeah,
and I get an 8 out of 10.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I've always been fine with. And my mum told me a while ago. She goes, "You always used to come second in everything you did." I don't have memory of this, but because I didn't care.
Yeah.
like I didn't
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to
yeah.
win. I
Yeah.
just needed to make sure I was
up there.
0.8.
Yeah.
If I was in the 0.8, or if I had a distinction but not a high distinction, I was cool
Mhm.
with that. Like that was enough to be better than the average, but not as good as the best.
Hmm.
Because I mean, I probably need to talk to a psychologist about this, but
Hmm.
maybe if I ever did win, then there was a perception that I always had to win. But by coming second all the time, everyone was like, "Ah, that's right."
And there's always that future of just like, oh, maybe next
We'll
time
never
I
hit the
will.
goal.
Yeah,
Never hit the goal.
Yeah, and then you're comfortable just being like at second place anyway.
well, when I
get
started
that.
Waterpro, once I hit my budget, like I had a number in mind that I wanted to hit. I took my foot off the accelerator. Like 2014, I didn't work for 90 days for the first 90 days of the month because I'm like, I've done it. I've done all the stuff I
You
wanted
just
to do.
let your staff sort of handle it.
Did a weight loss thing, lost 20 kilos, got to the number. I'm like, oh, that's done, and put it all back on because I was like, yeah,
So-
I know I can do it. So I've got a problem with resetting goals.
Yeah, and maybe in the future we should do like an interview with you about like specifically talking about your goals for the
Yeah.
future.
Well,
And
then they're in writing or they're in audio. That 100, I set a goal to do $100 million.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so that I've got something so big that I don't stop.
Yeah,
Because every
yeah.
time I hit a number, I'm like, yeah, cool.
And it's like Gary V's thing where he wants
The
to buy the
Jets.
Jets, where it's you want it and it would be incredible.
Yeah.
Like it's such an awesome
But
thing
it's
to work
not,
towards.
It's not the goal, it's what you
Exactly. And if you die and don't make Waterpro
Yeah.
$100 million, you're not going to be losing sleep
No.
because you've just you'll be dead. But but you don't really you won't really care about it at that
No.
stage. Yeah,
No.
because you've already
do.
hustled.
But everyone
and
will
you've
be
already
fucking,
done exactly.
he failed.
Well, I don't
Loser.
think so.
No,
I
not at all.
think because people are just too self-conscious about their own
That's right, I
stuff
don't give a
anyway.
shit.
So
Like, mate, well, yeah, there'll be a 1 hour news cycle when I die, if that. But it's not about like for Gary, it's smart because, you know, I know why that goal's there because I needed one too. He just knew it earlier and helped me identify that I needed one. It's not about it's not about achieving the goal. It's about the person you become in the pursuit of achieving the goal.
yeah,
And for me to do $100 million of turnover, I need to be sharper. I need to be healthier. I need to have better relationships with more people.
Mhm.
I need to focus on high level things, and it makes it easier for me to say to these guys, I can't help you with that because I'm concentrating on building $100 million a year company. I don't get caught up in the bullshit. Anyway, you go to uni. Where did you meet your current girlfriend?
I met Maddie at a social gathering
Yep.
just with some friends and
In your uni years?
No.
High school?
This literally like 1 year ago.
Okay.
We had our 1 year anniversary 2 days ago.
Ah.
So yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
The first year is the best. It goes downhill from there.
Don't tell me that.
No, straight up, get used to it. No. So you met Maddie, you finished university, and then...
So I finished university back in 2015.
Yep.
And then
that's
from...
so crazy. Finished
Yeah,
uni in
exactly.
I'm like, 2015, man. That's when I was like... that was a year after I'd given up.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm fucking done.
And then I went straight into business-to-business marketing.
So what was your university degree called? What are you?
A Bachelor of Media.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that enables you to, like, if you had to go get a job, who would you apply for a job with using that degree? Like marketing companies?
Well, I did get my first marketing job as a result of having my degree, because they said that they would only take someone on with a degree in marketing, or
even if you were shit.
Exactly, or a degree in media. And I said that I had the degree in media. I hadn't actually gotten the degree. Like, I had just finished and it hadn't gone through or whatever. So I was like, nah, but I've
That's
got
enough.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was comfortable
Hope they
that
don't
I
hire
passed
surgeons and doctors that way, but cool.
Yeah, I would hope so. But yeah, that was enough for me to just tell them that, and they were just like, yeah, okay, that's
because
cool.
they were just ticking a box. It
Exactly.
wouldn't have even been their box. It'd be some other box that like.
And the person that's actually going through your resume and they're actually doing the interview, they're not actually like the person that's made this rule in the first place.
That's right.
So the person at the top's just like, oh, here are the rules, and then pass them down, and then they don't care about it from then on. And then so you can have rules set in place that are just so monotonous and just
archaic.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you don't have the degree, you can't have the job. What if you're the best person for the job?
Yeah.
Like, literally. And yeah, I won't get started on that.
Anyway, so I did that, went straight into this working for Rewardle. So you would have seen that
Scan
tablet
your shit,
thing.
Coffee. Yep. Jaron had one at his... Jaron used to have his own business before he started working here.
Yeah, cool.
And he had a Rewardle.
Yep. So I went around business to business, just selling that basically.
Which has got nothing to do with your degree.
No.
Nothing.
No.
Like,
but they wanted someone that
you
has
can speak the tech.
an understanding of marketing and actually what's going on. Because if you employed someone that didn't have any idea how to use a computer, and they're trying to like explain why this tablet is going to help your business market better, that's not going to work.
And I guess using a degree as the benchmark or the key to the door is easy, because you generally would have enough computer knowledge. Yeah.
It's easy to say, like, because that means that I've spent 3 years with that as my focus.
Yep.
And so that's like an easy
recently
box
as well.
Yeah.
So you worked there. The YouTube, I guess your YouTube fame is of interest to me. Mm-hmm. And I think that I want to talk about that. I want to talk about, I guess, towards the end, a lot of the tools that we use here and what we do around creating podcasts and imagery for Facebook and Instagram and that kind of thing. So you started a YouTube channel for GeekBite, which we'll link in the comments or link into the post.
So I started with a website. Yep. GeekBite was a website to begin with. And then I was just promoting like interesting products and getting like affiliate sales on promoting those products. Basically, just writing little articles and stuff like that.
And this is like what in 2015? Like it's only new.
It was back then.
So affiliate marketing was pretty like a lot of people were doing it. Yep, and you were doing okay from it.
It was like pocket money, so it wasn't heaps, but it was alright.
But you had a job as well.
Yeah.
But you were also tasting different things and.
Yeah.
So then the website turned into a YouTube channel? Because you needed to be able to put videos somewhere? It wasn't about monetization at that point?
I was more interested in making videos, and it was my passion, so I was like, I'll just follow that route.
And what you'd learned in your degree, did that help you with editing? Like, is that part of it? No, so you had to learn how to edit?
I sort of knew how to edit because I'd always edited like skateboarding videos that I used to make, so that's what I started out with.
Yep.
So it was just me and my friends just like, go out on our skateboards. Just
are any of those skateboarding videos on YouTube?
I think there might still be one or two. We can link that if we
that'd
want.
I'm genuinely curious. Firstly,
cool.
of
All right.
how good you were at skating.
Yeah.
Like if you were just
I've got one on Facebook.
a dude
I'll
that could
send
like
it to you.
roll down a street and like get up the gutter without falling off, or if you were like.
Yeah.
you know,
We'll throw them down kick flips, 360 flips.
Did you go to skate
all of
parks?
the flips?
Like you weren't going in bowls and like half. Can you drop into a half pipe?
Yeah. Not funny story. When I used to skate, I tried to drop into the West Beach half pipe. So that's the biggest,
sharp too,
or it
and
was
massive.
the biggest half pipe in the Southern Hemisphere.
That was your first one.
And no. So I used to skate like mini ramp.
Yeah,
and
like quarter, almost like half pipes. Like
yeah. And that was what I really liked doing.
I don't think
half
it's still
pipe
there,
stuff.
man. That was mental.
No, it's there.
It is there. That's
it's
a big
there.
half pipe.
It's big, and it's still there, and it'll stay there because they do competitions on it, and it's like
And X Games have actually become like skating's an accepted sport now.
Skating's actually going to be in the Olympics, the next Olympics.
That's insane.
Yeah,
and it should be, but anyway.
Well, if like snowboarding and that
BMX.
sort of stuff is in like the Winter Olympics, then yeah.
I just like that. I think the Olympics is finished. Personally, I think it's a waste of time and it's stupid.
I still enjoy it,
but there are people that watch it. But I also don't watch a lot of shit. Like Anyway, so it's good that they're progressing with their sports, because if they didn't, then they'd definitely be dead.
Yeah.
So
I started with making skate movies, and like I said, with my phone, it was literally just like I had my flip phone. It was the only thing that I had that would like record video. So I was like, okay, let's start doing little videos, and it was actually really cool because it had an editing program on the phone where you could edit videos together.
And what are you just snipping?
Yeah.
Basically
So snipping it and then going
start,
like,
cut that bit out.
Here's another video. Here's another video.
Put
Here's
music
another video.
underneath.
Well, there wasn't any like capabilities of actually bringing music in as a file.
So it was just the sound like.
No, but it had a narration feature.
Yeah.
So I would click the narration feature. Once I've got a video that looked cool, I would click the narration feature, and then I would hold my phone up to like the radio whenever like one of my favorite songs. Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
And like
and that's the shit that I'd love to imagine you still had that.
Yeah.
Like if you've still got that.
I've still got the
and the clip.
I've still got the little M3 card that goes into the phone before it was like micro
That's
SDs
cool,
and
man.
stuff.
I was going to say I would have videotaped sound and then put it.
Yeah.
So that's a very good point for anyone out there that's looking to do vlogging, blogging, anything that DK does or that we're doing. Casey Neistat. In his first video, he's got a video on YouTube about it. He's got like 9 million subscribers. And in answer to the question of what camera should I use, it's the best camera that you have available at the time.
The best camera that people have available to them now is on their phones, and it's better than
any other stuff.
Like people that are complaining that are like, oh, like I don't have a camera to film, so I can't start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like, are you crazy? Yeah. Like it would cost.
You were doing it on a Sony, probably 1.3
I was doing it on a
camera.
Sony Ericsson.
What was
Walkman.
it? It wouldn't have even been. It would have been 0.8 megapixels.
It was nothing. It was it filmed in 3GP, which for you tech people out there is a very small compressed image or video format.
The kind of that basically, I reckon that's the kind of video format that my mother-in-law sends videos of my kids in. Where it's just grainy,
where it's like three pixels like, that sort of jit around. I
need to get her a new phone actually. From a selfish point of view.
But it's like people that are complaining that they don't have a camera, and you can buy like a phone for $25 on Gumtree that's maybe
got the tech to do
has
it.
like a smash screen or something, but the camera still works. And you have to like keep it plugged into like a power bank or something. Like
excuses,
exactly.
It's
like there's so many options out there.
Yep.
The difficult thing is actually getting noticed.
Yep.
And because it's so easy, there's like so much out there. So it's just like it's so difficult.
So what was your turning point? You obviously started off with zero, well probably your 10 friends subscribed to your channel or your skating mates.
Yeah, so that's the start. You just Sorry?
Did you have a click point where it went mental?
Yeah. So it started out just like, hey, friends, like come check out my crappy YouTube videos. And then initially it was about like technology news and stuff like that.
So what you'd social commentary on
It was
stuff?
just like if a new product came out, I would make a video just like talking about it, and I had this series where I was like tech in 60 seconds of tech. I would just go through the main like tech stories of that week, quickly do like a sort of a comedic rundown of it, like as funny as I could possibly be. Trying to be funny.
So that's probably disrespectful, but
No.
Well, any comedian's trying to be funny.
Exactly.
But they can still be funny without.
Yeah. And just trying to be entertaining, because if you're standing in front of a camera and you're just saying like, these are the tech stories from this week,
and like you're reading it from
yeah. And that's what I started out with as well. I had my iPad and I put it next to the camera, and I had this like teleprompter thing running on it.
No shit.
And so I was like, oh, okay. And then
this makes sense. This is great. That's what the big boys do.
Yeah. But then I was like noticing, I can see my eyes like going to the side. So what I ended up doing was building some dank teleprompter out of I took the glass from a photo frame, and then I put it on the iPad box that I had, and then cut a hole out of the iPad box, and then had the iPad sitting underneath. And so for anyone that understands how a teleprompter works, you put the glass in front of the camera, and so the camera looks straight through the glass, and then you're looking at a reflection of the from the glass.
So you're reading
at the iPad.
You're reading to the camera.
Exactly. So I was able to look straight at the camera.
Homemade teleprompter. Refractive lens. Which caught the light of that, but didn't affect the light of
exactly.
that.
Yeah. And then so like I covered it up with, it was a pants leg that I had. Like I cut off a old pants leg, and I covered it up because you don't have photos of all this stuff. Like, cause I've got it. I've actually got the stuff.
That's like, you think about I never think about my background and my rise to whatever micro fame that occurs.
But if you
off the
had
back of
like, if I was creating content around that, and just
how cool is
that?
Like,
oh, today I'm going to make
a teleprompter
this
because I'm useless at reading and not getting caught doing it. But even when people go, that DK dude's got 6 million followers on YouTube, it's so fucking easy. He's got like, hang on a second. What about when I was like awkwardly reading through a homemade pant leg teleprompter? Like, it was. What is that? 10 years to be an overnight success. So just to give people some context who haven't looked at what you're doing on YouTube, DK's got 60,000 YouTube subscribers and 2 videos with multiple million, like 10 million, 13 million views. Yeah. So, and that can create income, not enough to live off unless you can consistently do it.
Yeah, it's I was able to live off of the whole fidget spinner trend of 2017 because I made a video where I was unboxing one of those fidget spinners, and I was playing with it and just being an idiot and just playing around, and then that video ended up getting a decent amount of traction. And
using the YouTube algorithm, once it starts to climb, it gets more exposure.
So basically that video started getting a bit of traction, and I was like, oh, okay, so if I make another video off the back of this
and play it off the back of it, that's better in your opinion.
It's proven that's better. So if you've got something that's going big, you have to make a follow-up video, and you have to use the same tags, you have to use the same language used in the description.
So anyone that's so for people that are about to start a YouTube channel, what do you mean by using tags?
So tags on YouTube are basically just words that relate to the video,
so and that's like an indexing or a file sorting, like hashtags are for Instagram.
It's to help. Exactly. It's to help YouTube realize what area your this video fits in.
So for a YouTube hack out there, you can piggyback off of successful tags as you would with Instagram.
Only if they are actually in your niche.
So as in you go to a competitor's video and find the tags they're using, and they've got 1 million followers and you don't. You could steal their tags.
And oftentimes better thing to do than that is actually going to a competitor's video and getting portions of their titles in their videos and actually putting that entire title in the tags.
Yeah, okay.
Because that way YouTube's like, oh, okay, so this video is also related to this video, as long as you are actually making content, because YouTube will also go through all the voice in the video, because they're able to detect it and tell what words you're saying. And that will be their primary way of categorizing your video. So what you say in your video really matters. And then it goes to title, then it goes to description, and then if they need a little bit extra help, it's the tags and stuff. So putting tags in your video isn't going to make your video skyrocket and be crazy, but you have to do everything.
But I was gonna say, in early stages, like until you're Gary Vee or Casey or you know, Kanye or Will Smith or whoever, you need to do any hack you can think of to get any exposure you can. Tick every box that YouTube
every single in. So people, there's like a theme where people say like, oh, now YouTube tags don't matter, and sure, like they might only boost your video by like 0.001%.
When you've got 0, you need anything though.
Yeah, exactly. So and because like there's so much proliferation of content out there, that 0.01% is actually going to put you above 1,000 other people, because those 1,000 other people that created that content haven't done that 1 particular thing. So when you're at the bottom of the ranks, every single little thing that you do has an impact.
Well, you look at it like a sea of people, and one of them's got their hand up a little bit. You know, you're gonna see that one first, and if they're all doing the same thing. So your YouTube channel, the fidget spinner thing went mental. Yeah, is a fidget spinner still a thing? So that trend is dead.
There's still a thing. So
I know they still make them and shit. But is anyone still using them? Like, is there?
Yeah, so there's communities on Reddit that still love them, and there's kids that love them, and it'll be like the
a yo-yo.
It'll be like the yo-yo. It'll come back.
So you're hanging for that next ad revenue.
I can't see it being as big of a thing as it was. Like, it was crazy. Like that footage from my video got shown on Sky News.
And then you got a book deal off the back of that as well.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So
what does that look like? I've never had a book deal, so
so a publisher contacted me, and they said, "Hey, we'd like to do this book on fidget spinners. We'll give you $4,000 to do a book."
US.
Yep. And so I was like, okay, like I could whip this together in like a day, and I could make $4,000, and I was like, that's pretty bloody good. Like, that's amazing. And then I looked into it, and then obviously with a book deal, usually you'd get like recurring revenue from it, royalties. So I was like, okay, I'll send him a message, and I'll just say, look, I'm interested only if I can get like $1 or $2. I think I said specifically $2 US per book, and then I'd be happy with that, and also if I could get the $4,000
or as
an advance. And
against the $2.
Yeah.
So once you sold your first 2,000 books, then you start
exactly. Once you've made that money, then
it's on.
And then they basically sent back. They said, hey, like usually what you do in the publishing industry, they were open to me now, because like they knew that
they wanted you to have the
exactly. And so they said usually in the publishing industry you do 10%, 10% of royalties. And so I was like, and then they said, but we've got 2 other people that are doing the book with you, and you're going to write half the content. So they said 5%, and then at that point I was just like, yeah, okay, fine, like 5%.
See how this rolls.
I said 5%, and if we can do a $3,000,
because you still want the learning experience of doing it
exactly.
Well.
And I was like, I was just excited.
Imagine how cool is that?
And I'd already started
a published author.
Exactly, and I'd already started writing it. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And so the book was all about just tricks you can do with fidget spinners. So I had to come, and because it's a new thing, I was...
You were the inventor. And similar to skating. Like, you're naming tricks.
I was naming tricks. I just made up a whole bunch of nonsense, and about 50% of the tricks, or probably even more, are just absolute, like, nonsense, like, joke tricks.
Yeah, like spinning on top of a beer bottle.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a thing.
Because it's like, how much can you do with a spinning thing?
No matter how much you throw it, and how quickly can you learn that trick to be able to do it well and get it in the book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is now there's kids that are really actually taking it quite seriously, and they're doing all sorts of actually really impressive tricks where they're like throwing it under their arms and flipping around.
Like the yo-yo.
Yeah, exactly.
But
and
you
so
were
you
first
always
to market, so you got the book deal.
yeah, exactly. And because I had that reach as well.
So and that's probably a good thing to point out, that the person who's willing to walk away from the table has the upper hand in any negotiation, and ultimately you could have just not done it.
I could have,
and they wanted it,
and they wanted it, and I was one of the only people that could have possibly fulfilled what they needed. So yeah, I really, thinking about it now, and I talked to my accountant, and I really should have pushed for a little bit more. But that being said,
or
I'm
written
happy
the book and tried to go publish it yourself. But you know what? What do they say? A bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. Is that a thing?
Yeah, probably.
Like, it was an offer. It was on the table. You had no other offers.
Yeah.
As much as you could have said no and just continued working on ad
and also it did take me a day. Like, I woke up at 8 in the morning and I worked until midnight that night.
I wrote a book.
Yeah, and I just did it.
Couldn't have done it. Like, I started recording content to try and have the framework for a book. I wouldn't be able to write a book. Like, physically sit down and type the words. And
you would need a ghostwriter.
Straight up. Like, even then, I don't even know if I could consistently rock up to appointments and talk to a ghostwriter. I'd be like, do we have to do this again today?
Yeah.
Okay, so have you had any job offers since you've been here?
Apart from all the...
As in, like,
ones
freelance stuff?
Yeah.
Because that was something that I was like, he's going to get offered a job soon.
Oh, actually, Gary Vaynerchuk, I think he said his name was. He contacted me recently.
Spell that?
Yeah.
Bull. Yeah, but no, look, and in all seriousness, so I guess where is your next job? Like, do you think your next job will be in starting your own company or freelance? And this could be in 5 years or 3 years or.
I was talking about it with Maddie the other night. And my plan at the moment is to do a decent amount of time here and then be able to build my skills while I'm in this role.
So you're getting paid to learn as well as... Yeah.
And then from there, I'm interested in doing consulting for like social media
for other brands, like to kind of replicate
advertising.
This,
And whether that be like my own, like I am just DK the consultant.
DK Media.
Yeah.
Quick, someone go buy that.
Do I have it? No, probably not.
DKM.
Yeah. So whether that be just me or whether I go to like another company and I'm just like working as a consultant with them. But also I want to I keep on building GeekBite because since I've started working here, I haven't really had...
because I looked at your last video. You haven't had a video up for 3 months.
So I've filmed a video. And like the first week that I worked here, I was like, I'm not going to let this get in the way of GeekBite. I'm going to film a video. I filmed a video, but I just haven't had the chance to edit it. And the main reason isn't because of Waterpro. It's because when I started Waterpro, I started getting these offers for freelance stuff. So it's like, obviously I'm going to take that because I had no money because I'd spent all of my...
well, you'd pre-spent your ad...
I pre-spent my book money on a car. It wasn't like a flashy car or anything. I just needed a new car. I've got a Mazda 3. But some would call that a girl's car. It's very, very effeminate. But it's fantastic mileage.
And that's really important now in a world where consumption of our natural resources is as an
exactly. Well, my next car, I want it to be a Tesla, and
that's even better.
Yeah, and so I want to get like that's my goal.
And if anyone at Tesla's listening, DK has a really good following on social media and could review your car if you let him have one.
I'd review a Model X
daily. Just do a little. Just like this is the handle that opens the door and.
That'd be awesome.
Grow GeekBite, work here.
Also, I want to start a virtual reality channel. So that's probably another step that I want to do.
It's a lot of time.
Exactly. And that's the problem, because I'm just like, if I'm working at Waterpro, I'm a consultant, and I'm doing 2 other YouTube channels, it's not going to work.
Well, you just don't see your friends, family, or partner.
Exactly.
If that's, no, but I'm serious.
No,
like,
I know.
If it's that important to you, or you quit. But don't do that.
and I've done that before. Like I've done
disappear.
periods of just like I just work, I put my head down, and I just get stuff done, and it's really beneficial for the business or whatever I'm doing. But then I find myself, I got like last year, at the end of the last year, I was super anxious, and it was because I spent almost the entire year just in my bedroom doing videos and not talking to anyone. And because I wasn't out social and like talking to people.
Imagine you were still at school, they'd really pick on you for that.
Yeah. So
that was part of the appeal of applying for this role. Human interaction.
Exactly.
Still being able to do something you enjoyed.
Yeah, because I was just getting so much anxiety. I was like, I have to get out and I have to talk to people. Because otherwise I'm just sitting in
the consulting roles,
talking to a lens. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I like that.
Or you're talking to people on the internet who are sometimes mean. And
that's another thing. Every single day, opening up my YouTube and saying, kill yourself.
Go die, dickhead.
You're a piece of shit. Like all these horrible
I've read some of
things.
the comments. There's some pretty funny ones about like sticking fidget spinners in.
Oh yeah, there's some great ones on there. There was a funny meme that was made that used my video and my face and said useless careers don't exist, and then the title of my video was fidget spinner tricks with a professional fidgeter.
We don't know anyone with a more useless career.
So pretty funny.
So I wanted to, I guess, touch on a few of the tools that you use in a day-to-day, I guess, operation that could be free for people at home that are trying to, landscapers. Obviously, that's our audience. It's going to be predominantly landscaping. So if you were a landscaper right now and you were trying to grow your social, Instagram straight up, any photo editing apps or
you can get Canva. Canva's a good one. You can get,
and Canva's got an app now. Is it on iOS? Have you got Canva working? So I've got Canva on Android, and it works really well. Free app. They just sold part of it for like $30 million or something. People are watching Canva, but it's free. So Canva helps you with like if you see any image cards with text on them, majority of the time they're being done.
A lot of the time it's Canva, or most of the time now it's Adobe Spark. Adobe Spark is basically the exact same thing as Canva, but it's part of the Adobe CC package, and I've already got the Adobe CC package, and it's got a couple extra features that I quite like, so I just use that.
To expand, the Adobe CC package is a video editing, audio, like it's the shit.
Yeah, it's the whole creative suite.
You could make a feature film using it.
You could,
if you had this, but you could.
You would.
You would. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's the tools that the professionals use. The professionals will use Premiere Pro, which I'm going to be editing this video on. The professionals will use Adobe Audition, which we're
you still got audio there.
Which we're recording this podcast on at the moment.
Yeah. Okay.
And Photoshop is the best photo editing tool.
It's all anyone ever talks about, isn't it?
It's just Adobe have a monopoly on it.
And the app, you've got an app on your phone where you do photo like color changing and that. Is that done in Adobe Spark?
That's Adobe.
Canva?
That's actually Adobe Photoshop Express on iOS. So that's actually another good one because that is free.
If you've got an Apple phone.
I think it's on. It would be on.
We live in
Android
different ecosystems, so
no, Adobe would do Android as well. So that is a good one, but don't get hung up on trying to edit your videos and edit your photos, especially if you haven't done anything like that before, because there's no reason to learn those skills, because most of the time, if you just you can take a photo and then post it, and then you can write text beneath it. Like it's
organic as well, and it's more natural.
Exactly.
Well, you got to remember, this business is coming close to 10 years now, and I now have a digital person. Like for that first 10 years, all the Facebook, it was all me just trying stuff and looking at what other people are doing and testing, and but it is important to be there. Another really cool hack that might be of interest to anyone out there, go to namechecker.com, which is NAMECHKR.
Yeah, there's no E.
No E. And type in your business name. So for Waterpro, we've gone with Waterpro AU because Waterpro wasn't available on all channels, and you'll be able to see if your name has been used already or is there's availability in YouTube, Reddit, Tumblr,
so
Instagram.
Ideally, what you'll do is cover every single social media platform that you can
Now, that's available now.
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
current ones.
Yeah. And use the same handle
Yep.
because that way it makes it easier when you're telling people.
Yep.
Like, you don't want to be stuck telling people like, oh, on Facebook my name is Waterpro.
.com.au, which it was.
Exactly. Well,
and then on Snapchat, it's Waterpro.
And then on Twitter, it was Waterpro _.
Yeah.
And it's like you've got 4 or 5 different
Yep.
handles that you're trying to tell people. And you saw it when we were like designing new
It looks
business
horrible,
cards.
yeah.
It's just like, it's so ugly.
Yep.
And
as much as I don't like Waterpro AU, I'd love it to just be Waterpro. The reality is that land grab has occurred.
Yeah.
And always be conscious of the new platforms that are coming up and buy your name, even if you're not going to not buy your name, create your name, even if you're not ever going to use it, like Snapchat or whatever's next.
Yeah, just create. And if your specific business name is taken, try something like your business name or it's your business name.
We did AU
exactly.
because it appealed to me.
Yeah, we were.
Which DK might not have done. Like if it was DK's business, he probably would have gone. It's Waterpro.
Well, that's what I've done for some of my other stuff, just like it's.
Yep.
But and also, because I couldn't
we had the
get,
eBay name Waterpro AU. That's why.
Yeah, and mine was annoying where, like when I was doing GeekBite, I wanted to get just GeekBite for my Instagram, but as you've seen, it's geek.byte. And the worst part about that is no one has
using it.
GeekBite.
Yeah. Once it's even if it's a deleted account,
Exactly.
It's done.
So if it's been used and then it's deleted, Instagram won't recycle those names back into the system, even if because the person that deleted it only had like 1 or 2 photos and then they it went away. So it's like it's annoying.
And look, that might change in time. I guess they don't give a shit enough. And I'll guarantee you, if someone with enough money or enough influence wanted that name.
And if you're stuck right now and you can't, because you might be in deep enough where you can't actually change your handles because it's already set in stone.
Yeah, and you've got so much of a following.
And if you want to like try and promote your business on those platforms, what you might actually do is like a search box and show what they can search on every platform, because if you search your business name and you're in that deep, you should be showing up anyway. So in your advertising,
you're talking just for a business card or
I'm talking business card, or if you're doing like a advertisement,
like a website image,
or if you're doing like a pre-roll, or
if anyone's still using
in the Trading Post.
I was thinking the Advertiser.
I don't think Trading Post is around anymore.
Trading Post is digital online only now. But
okay. Well, Gumtree,
remember
where
the
they just
days
destroyed it.
Going to buy like Commodore rims. I don't know if you ever went through that. Like we used to get cop rims.
I remember
to do burnouts.
I think the Trading
Private
Post
property
was where we like found like garage sales to go to. Like me and my dad always went to garage sales, and it wasn't to like resell things like Gary talks about. It was literally just like
shit.
So much shit that I just never used. Like little
that.
toys and stuff. Like it wasn't for my dad, it was for me. Like it was just so I could see some, like whether there was Pokemon cards there or something like that. That was always the dream.
It's crazy. And now it's all online. Anything else that you can think of that would benefit our audience socially? I guess make sure you're there. Yeah,
so hashtags are important, especially for landscaping on Instagram. I was looking before, and it's like we don't really do it that way.
I'm conscious of that. I'm going to actually go back and dump comment hashtags in every one of our posts.
Exactly, and I think that's a good idea, because if someone's on Instagram and they're like, oh, I want to see some like landscaping work in SA, like because I want to find someone that's going to do good stuff for then Yeah, so they're going to be searching on Instagram. So you want to make sure that you're using hashtags that are searched for on Instagram.
Which is all Googleable.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
top 20 hashtags for landscaping, top 20 hashtags for photography in Europe. Like it's all on Google. But I wanted to cover it. I guess talk a bit about how we operate. I think that's it. So yeah, nothing else you would like to add?
No.
So we'll throw DK's social media handles underneath the audio and visual of this. Thank you for jumping in at short notice. I know you probably really wanted to anyway, so it wasn't too much, but it's probably it can be nervous when you're being interviewed on film
so
by
usually
your current employer. You're not, it's not your employer that's asking.
And usually when I'm creating content, I'm in front of the camera alone.
You edit hard on yours as well,
I edit
don't you?
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm very like, who cares? I wouldn't, because I make content as if I'm editing it. I'm like, I don't want to edit this shit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's been either the Waterpro connection or Waterpro connections or the full landscape.
I like the full landscape.
The full landscape.
It's grown on me. Yeah, over
I
the
like
course
it
of this
because we use
podcast.
connection for, like, I use the Waterpro connection for, I think that's what we'll be using for our software stuff. So
Yeah.
I also do there's like, I got to get that trademarked. Someone can take it if you want. Like Waterpro, make a connection with a local.
Yep.
So that was like a thing. So anyway, this has been episode 3 of the full landscape with Waterpro. DK, our media unicorn. I'm Clint Adams. Thank you very much for listening or watching, however you are consuming our content. As always, please comment any questions you've got for DK around social media or me around sprinklers and pipe and
Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions.
employment, business.
Yeah.
And yeah, cool. Thanks, man.